Certainly, as Rex mentioned earlier, we won't have the crowd that we had last year, but a very hardy lot of supporters have come out in terrible weather for this match between Canterbury Bankstown and Eastern Suburbs. And as we speak, Eastern Suburbs, led out by Buddy Horton, make their way onto the arena, bypassing the sign. Fireworks have started in the background. There they are, as the Eastern Suburbs sign make their way onto the Townsville Reserve. Committed to a wholehearted effort tonight to make up for that terrible showing last weekend.
Fireworks just behind us here in our commentary area, which is a very wet spot indeed. But it's great to see so many people still come out in these conditions. Ticket sales were going along nicely until the big wet of yesterday and today. We just await Canterbury Bankstown, the favourites, and very firm favourites tonight. But so often the case, they can falter in the wet. Terry Lamb looking very grim and determined, as is David Gillespie. And it looks as though the local support's going to go by way of Eastern Suburbs. Fireworks still continuing. Not a bad task in itself amongst all this rain.
In fact, Graham, it's a tremendous task that the whole crew here at of 10 and local support have enabled us to get this telecast to air tonight, because really it just absolutely bucketed down. Torrential rain.
Just talking about Paul Bowden for a moment. He's a friend of mine, but I must say he's experiencing a bit of a slump in form, particularly after the effort last week. I know you can't blame a captain for a flogging one player, but this man here has got to lift his own form, and he's got to get the players behind him. They've got to put up a performance tonight, or they'll lose credibility totally.
Gordon's going to have to do it against a very tough pack and an informed pack. Canterbury Bankstown. Referee in charge tonight. This is Friday night football. Neil Armand. Waits. Andrew Farah. East versus Canterbury. Andrew Farah building himself a nice little mud heap. Fireworks making up for the lack of stars around tonight. Plenty of noise. Let's see who makes the biggest noise tonight, Canterbury or East. Farah. Handling. Real difficult tonight for both sides. David Smith. Straight into Gillespie. Farah charges over the top of him. Darren Smith in there as well. Borton goes without. Back to Salvatore. Taken by Thomas. Quinn makes it to the 22. Mud everywhere here at the Townsville Sports Complex. The kick in nicely. Alston. Nearly the entire Eastern Suburbs team right in front of him. Beats one. Sherlock was the man that missed him. Robinson. Hat-trick of tries last week. The big winger. Eastern Suburbs to dig deep tonight. They know they owe it not just to their fans, but more importantly to themselves. Kevin Moore spends so much time at dummy half at this Canterbury side. Pay. Taken short of his own halfway line. Lamb. Kicking away from Silva. The ball just sat there as soon as it hit the mud. Salvatore. Charge on the blind side. Bounce backwards by Pay. Advantage was played by Armand. He'll bring the Bulldogs back to inside the 5. Corcoran, one of the offenders. Water everywhere down this Eastern Suburbs end of the ground. Smith. Russell Fairfax hoping an absolute reversal of form. Hardy. Quinn. Taken by Dunn. Joella is the leg scratching from this Eastern Suburbs side. His running from dummy half tonight would have been very important. There's there's a dust-up between Salvatore and Pay. Plenty of players jumping in. David Smith just leapt in there and hurdled nearly all of them.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely stupid, that business that Smith went on with there. That is dumb, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him walk for stupid interference with a brawl that was none of his doing, or none of his business.
We saw it blow up against Cronulla. Maybe the referees and touch judges have been told to take a tough stand.
Well, Salvatore's always on a short fuse. You can always, as we watch it now, there's Vaughton comes carrying the ball forward, gets to about the advantage line, and then the trouble starts. There it is, just from behind there. You see Salvatore throwing punches for no reason at all. I thought he was the instigator of that.
Well, here comes Smith.
Well, he should be spoken to too. Very stupid that was, very dumb.
Well, he wants Salvatore back. He looked to be the man that started at wrestling with Pay.
Well, there's Vaughton fighting his way forward, and Pay cops one there when he didn't really have his... he wasn't even facing the right direction. Salvatore got into him from behind. I don't call that a real good show.
Long report coming in from both touch judges. Vaughton has his say. Corcoran listening on.
Well, I know the Eastern Suburbs side have got to get some credibility back into their performance some way, but they're not going to do it by this all-in brawl attitude. This is not going to work.
Strong talking to both captains from Armand. Last chance, he might be saying. Would have thought somebody might have ended up in the bin right from the start. Everybody's getting cold.
Plenty of talk, isn't there?
Have a look at it here at Townsville. They want the referee to get on with it, surely.
Yes, Armand's gone beyond the point now. He's delayed the proceedings too much now. Smith's got 10 minutes for coming in, and that's a very good decision. A very good decision indeed. Now that will hopefully stop other people, idiot enough to come charging in when they've got no business to be there.
Well, the replay told it all, Rex, that Salvatore was the instigator and Smith made it worse. And that's exactly how the touch judges have got it. So a minor delay, but now they get a chance to get warmed up again.
Okay, let's see if we can get some football. Canterbury with the restart. Andrew Farris 32 metres away from his own line, kicking on the first tackle. Down for Silva, who's positioned just about on his own quarter. A couple of the Canterbury defenders have slipped over before they even got to the man. But Silva's made it to about 11 metres from the halfway mark, and the penalty has gone to Eastern Suburbs again. It's on again, more pushing and shoving this time.
Yes, it's just push and shove on this occasion, nothing serious.
Now, I just want to make an interesting point here, and this has been brought up by a lot of coaches, like Chris Anderson, all the Sydney coaches, in fact. This penalty has been awarded a metre short of halfway. The play the ball happened the other side of the 10-metre line in Eastern Suburbs territory. So that's a rather large 5 metres taken by referees.
And they've made it even better with a very good kick for touch to restart just about on the quarter line. And here they come, Eastern Suburbs. Quinn, full charge, about 10 metres out from the Canterbury Bankstown line. Salvatore inside that 10-metre mark now, putting some real pressure on Canterbury Bankstown. Gilmester runs into some solid defence. Now it's out for Bridge, then Georgalis. The little step didn't do him any good. Couldn't get through the defence. Still 10 metres away from the Canterbury Bankstown line. Bridge got it away for Fatty Vaughton. And the defence swarms in, and he may have caught one around the ears. Last tackle signal as Georgalis puts his head down, can't get a kick in. He's pulled down about 3 metres short of the line. That'll be a changeover. So Canterbury now working their way out from a very, very dangerous position for them.
Yes, Johnny Croucher, what do the Footy Tab fans think about this game?
Well, Rex, despite these terrible conditions, we've still got $34,000 in the Pick to Score dividend pool. Not surprisingly, Canterbury are very hot favourites, one of the hottest of the season. 80% think they're going to win. No support for a field goal very much. The Footy Tab computer thinks that Canterbury will score 16 to 20, East 8 to 12. Rex?
Good. John, thanks very much.
Well, you can see the conditions already making handling difficult. And the Eastern Suburbs side get the scrum feed with Bridge inside the quarter. It's one against the feed. That's a great scrum win. That could have been really dangerous for Canterbury Bankstown, but Joey Thomas take a bow. Now Langmack bobbing and weaving and getting outside the quarter. Alchin. Now Dunn, the defence swarming in on Dunn and driving it back inside the quarter. Thomas, beautiful. Got the pass away nicely for Pay. Now out it comes for Dean. Slipping and sliding. Defence is doing now. Last tackle signalled against Canterbury. 32 metres away. And Farah across where Campbell will take it on the halfway mark. Georgalis is outside of him, but Campbell's come back the other way and will take the tackle. How have you seen it so far, Bill?
Well, it's been a terrific struggle, and I think both sides are playing with a fair bit of intensity. Eastern Suburbs had a lot to prove, and I believe they're trying to go about that. Whether they win or lose the game, they've got to play as if their lives depend upon it.
Salvatore's been heavily involved in all areas of the game so far.
Yeah, he has been, but it's important now that Eastern Suburbs forwards back off and concentrate on playing football.
Here's Georgalis working his way up towards the quarter. Gary Bridge at dummy half. Putting the kick in, and it's just too big though. The kick was far too big, despite being a very short in-goal area. Even on a wide in-goal area, that was too big. So the restart from the quarter. Canterbury doing well, getting the pass away was Alchin on for Darren Smith. Now Gillespie. Oh, look, the frogs are out. Cane, or is that a cane? Is that a bullfrog or a cane toad? What is it?
It's one of the toads that'll take on the cockroaches in May.
Hoppity hop hop.
Back to the serious stuff. Eastern Suburbs have been camping themselves in Canterbury territory. No score yet. Sherlock taken by Farrer and Corcoran. Bridge tries his hand out of dummy half. No good for him. Hardy. Once again, the Roosters start heading towards the 22. Salvatore fumbled, dragged it back in, then took a big tackle from Langmack. Quinn down a short line. Just a little bit of moisture here in Townsville, Bill.
Graham, both teams came up here worried about the heat and dehydration. Mate, they're more chance of drowning.
Robinson knocked it back. Oh, dear. That'll be quoted somewhere, Bill, don't worry. 9 metres out. Canterbury to work it away. Peter Sterling knows the matches to miss, doesn't he? Done. Good luck tomorrow, Peter Sterling. Got a tough one. Good short ball from Langmack for Pay. There was a half gap for him. Farah beats McGahn and gets a good kick in too over the head of Silver. Plenty of chasing coming from Canterbury. Cook nowhere to go. Campbell's come off his far wing, across the paddock and into the waiting arms of Dunn now. Still Neil Armand trying to get a very big 5 metres from Canterbury. Just look at the gap here, playing the ball on the 10-metre line again, and Canterbury are back on the halfway line. Well, coaches do have a case, I guess. So maybe that we use more lines and grid system on a football field to help referees. Alchin away from Silver. Straightens up. Good run from the fullback into space. In the heavy conditions, he had a good game against the Steelers down at Wollongong. It's something in their favour. Thomas ducked under one. Of course, Canterbury have shown their hand with Moore and Alsham running from that dummy half position. Now a very big 5 metres asked from Eastern Suburbs. Bill, I'd like you to just get your point on the way they are getting these teams, or trying to get them back some 8 or 10 metres.
Graham, it's true, the referees do get the players back more than 5, but let me say this, and even though it's not in the rule book, if we had a 5-metre rule in defence with modern defences, no one would ever score.
All right. Scrums are all even. Penalties too. And Gilmeister takes his turn at a chat with Neil Armand.
Well, Gilmeister there with a Nissan replay with a right hand that went in an attempted stiff to the head, and then a left arm. So he's gone for the Quinella. He's been picked up by Armand. The penalty kick will probably be taken by Lamb from the quarter, about 10.5 metres in from the sideline.
Lamb to take it just back past the 22. Good crowd here, and on behalf of the New South Wales Rugby League and 10 Sports Action, we'd like to thank Ben War, the chairman of the North Queensland Rugby League, his board and their staff. Their efforts have been magnificent in making this match a success. I guess it goes a long way towards the expansion of the game up here in the north. Well done to all the members of the North Queensland Rugby League. Well, I can't believe the number of people we've got at this game. I'm not sure of the numbers. That's something for somebody else to tell me, but I can't believe this many people would come and sit in the rain to watch football. Just falls off the mound for Lamb. 12 from 23 so far in 1990 for the Canterbury 5-8. Chances at goal are going to be very important tonight. Strikes it well, fading away, taken by McGahn. 10 metres out, no score, Eastern Canterbury. The Roosters have their chance now to prove themselves inside their own 22. David Smith checking that his time in the sin bin is up. Borton quickly away for Sherlock. Barra's come up. Away for Campbell. Robinson has him by a jumper. Struggling to his feet, trying to get the penalty. Quinn. Talking about creatures great and small, they're all out here in Townsville. I hope you're enjoying our environmental show here from Townsville. Alshan taken now about 32 from his own line.
This game has been played in the main up around this area. Canterbury's defence has been able to hold, and now Thomas brings it up and runs into some pretty solid defence. Borton and Gilmeister showing the way. Langmack. That's back for Farah. Silver down there waiting for it. Got Smith with him. Lamb did enough to bring him down. Now Georgialis right in the mud heap. Where the football they're using, of course, has enabled them to hang on to it pretty well. Now Salvatore almost makes the halfway mark. Georgialis. Well, Cook couldn't pick it up. So Neville Armand bringing it back for the knock-on.
Well, the kick ricocheted, as we see on the Nissan replay, off a Canterbury player on the way through, and then Cook came bearing down on it. He couldn't attempt to pick it up. He did attempt to. He couldn't succeed. I thought he would have been better off just kicking it.
Only the 3 handling errors so far, which is remarkable, really. Now Lamb playing it. And losing it. Make that 4 handling errors.
Well, Terry Lamb does a little bit of crawling along the ground here too. I think he could have just as easily earned a penalty there.
Bridge to work this scrum. This has gone with the feed. And McGahn only half away for Smith. Running strongly. He's had a 10-minute breather, of course, in the sin bin. Hardy's got it back for Bridge. Now for Smith again, inside the quarter now. Morton in a dummy half, looking for his runners. Here's Quinn. He's able to offload nicely back for Silver. They're only about 18 metres away from the Canterbury Bankstown line. Bridge. His little kick is bouncing nicely for Canterbury, however. Moore is able to dive on it. Now Dean.
Now Eastern Suburbs have got to try to contain Canterbury down here without conceding a penalty for inside the 5. That's one of the critical factors.
Gillespie was able to bring it out nicely and move it along. Now Alchin. In this sort of conditions, he almost lives in the dummy half role. Come up with a penalty too. It's against Martin Quinn.
Well, I really fail to see what he was trying to prove there with the additional little bit of impetus on the tackle to knock him back a foot. He'd been tackled. The guy was on the ground, was going to get up and play the football. And they've conceded a penalty. They'll lose about 20 metres, and Canterbury will be back in possession again from the tap restart. So it's a bit of a Dumbo act to put on, I thought.
Kevin Moore with the restart for Alchin. Here's Alchin again, getting it on for Gillespie. Certainly a much more committed effort so far, and East are all offside. I have to say a far more committed effort so far from East.
Well, I think that is true to say. They are putting in a good effort. Each one of the players is putting in a very strong effort, but they're going through periods of stupidity when they concede a couple of penalties for obviously no reason.
Barron's been able to find touch just about on the quarter line. Moore up for the restart again. Alchin first receiver, then for Lamb. Now Farah. Penalties have gone Canterbury's way 5-2. Now Pay is inside the quarter. Moore a dummy half. Away for Thomas. Back for Langmack. Tried to get a pass around the corner. Didn't come off.
Yeah, in this hand replay, Langmack just hung onto the ball a fraction longer. Ball users such as he will occasionally be made look bad in that situation. Even Arthur Beetson, one of the best ball control men we've ever had, could look bad on occasions.
Bridge nearly got away. He didn't get away from Kevin Moore. Now he's ordered to play it by Armand. McGann trying to link up with Smith, who's come back onto the paddock, very determined, but a bad pass from him. Now Moore away with the chance for Canterbury. Corcoran, dangerous pass to Farah. Did well to turn his back and take it. He's going to go against Andrew Farah trying to crib. Now, interesting decision from Neil Armand.
He's got him for walking off the mark. I think that's a legitimate decision. As we see the tackle come in very, very strongly. Now he gets slowly to his feet and paces a couple of paces forward. There it is. And that's what I call cribbing.
All the good brought undone. Bridge puts Eastern Suburbs back on the attack. Campbell. Hardy. Back for Gilminster. Taken by Thomas. Borton. Underneath was Pay. East have had the better as far as territory is concerned. Hardy. 12 metres away, Eastern Suburbs. Sherlock took that nicely. Now he's lost it. Joe Thomas comes up with it for Canterbury.
Yes, Sherlock was just about to be applauded by me for a beautiful take. He took that down around his knees, but then he went a fraction too far, still had the ball in his fingertips, and the tackle took the possession away from him.
Smith. 23 tackles in Canterbury's half, just the 7 down the other end for Canterbury. Pay. Looking to pass to somebody. Gillespie was there. So was Lamb. That was a tough pass to him, though. Farah Only just gets the kick in. Silva knocked it back. Step slam beautifully. There's nobody there. Now Kevin Moore was the last line virtually. Crowd gets excited about Eastern Suburbs coming straight back. Salvatore. Strong run from him to take it inside the quarter. About 10 in from touch. Quinn heads further infield. Hardy a dummy half. The roll surely where they missed Cruella. Georgalis taken by Langmack. Bridge looking for somebody on the inside. Last tackle. Bridge normally would have been the man for the kick. It's going to be Paul Borton. There's a bomb coming the way of Canterbury. Alshin's there. Takes it easily. Not enough time for the runners to get there. Coming back to the quarter. Still 0-0 Eastern Canterbury. Kevin Moore trying to find a runner. Paul Dunn is the man in question. Major mistake from Canterbury. Are they going to pay for this one? This scrum will go down just outside the 22. A big blindside to be worked if they want it.
Thomas won one against the feet earlier. Can he do it again?
Normally you can get away with one of those in a match. They were going to try and take it out of the scrum through Huey McGann. Canterbury screwed the scrum. Well, they have come up with it again. That is great scrummaging from the entire pack. Farah up the middle. Too strong for Bridge. Alshin. Gillespie. Good defence from East. Langmack. Canterbury looking for a kicker. Lamb back for pay. Good ball from him. He's got some room here. The intercept was nearly taken by Smith. It'll come back for the scrum. The score here on Nissan Friday Night Football, 0-0 Eastern Canterbury. We will be back in Townsville in just a moment.
Welcome back to Townsville, where we have no score in this very, very muddy affair. Canterbury have been awarded the penalty, and Terry Lamb trying to get some sand to build a mound.
Nearly lost the bucket.
The sand has turned to mud. He's right now. He's going to have this shot at goal. There's an indiscretion in the play of the ball that brought it. A very low trajectory to kick. He just can't get any height out of that ball at all.
Well, there's no doubt in the wide world where the allegiance of the crowd lies. It's all the way with Eastern Suburbs. They're booing everything that Canterbury do and cheering everything that Eastern Suburbs do.
That ball must be like a brick.
Although they're handling it pretty well, aren't they? You know, they wet with the ball. They're handling it pretty well.
They are handling it very well. Not kicking too flash, but they're handling it very well.
That's true.
Now, Robinson's coming and looking for the football. You can tell he hasn't had much to do. He's pretty clean. He was. Now, Pay.
This young fella's impressing me tonight. Young Pay is getting through a lot of work, as is Dunn.
Yes. Dunn is brought down about 32 metres away. Here's Alchin. A little kick and chase. Ran into Bridge, and he's going to get the penalty.
Well, Nissan replay, watch it yourself, see whether you consider it to be a dive or whether it was a legitimate penalty. My eyes had flashed through to see where the ball resulted after the kick, and I'm afraid I didn't see it, but you judge that one. I think he might have been slapped on a 402 for overacting.
Well, they're going to change kickers. Terry Lamb can't handle it, so Jamie Corcoran is going to try his luck. He's in a slightly better position than Terry Lamb was a few moments ago, just inside the quarter. Around the corner style kicker. Landed a couple of goals for the Bulldogs so far this year. So he's about 18 or 19 metres out, and maybe just outside the right-hand upright.
Well, this one will have the redeeming feature. If he doesn't kick the goal, it should go dead from that distance.
The rain Pelts down again as Corcoran lines this one up. Plenty of height from him. Plenty of direction as well. We have our first score. Corcoran lands it for the Bulldogs, and Canterbury Bankstown lead Eastern Suburbs 2-0.
He's made a burst. He's shaken one. Now two. That's three. He's shaken. He's gone through three. Big shakes now. Chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla.
It's taken about 30 minutes, but our first score's on the board. Smith with the restart for Eastern Suburbs. Everything's gone.
Ball with the possession of Eastern Suburbs, playing the ball about 40 metres. Yeah, I must apologise that we've lost audio from Townsville, but as you can see, Eastern Suburbs in possession of the ball, working it out about 40 metres outside their own line. Taking it away in the forwards again, and obviously this is what Eastern Suburbs have got to do. At the moment, they've been kicking territorially, trying to get the ball up to the Canterbury Bankstown end of the field, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Gary Bridge come in and use some attacking kicks. Turn the ball over. And now Canterbury Bankstown with their little man, Kevin Moore, working the ball out of dummy half. I haven't got one, mate. Canterbury again, Andrew Farrer this time, bringing the ball away. Moore to dummy half. Through Alchin. Alchin runs wide, makes a tremendous break up the centre of the field. Steps off the left foot, he's going to score adjacent to the uprights. That's a tremendous Canterbury Bankstown try. An individual effort by Jason Alchin, and just what the Bulldogs needed. Well, we're on the replay. You people at home can see it, but I can't see it. Moore went the dummy half. He fired the ball onto Jason Alchin. Alchin stepped off the left foot, made an incursion through the Eastern Suburbs defence, came to Rod Silver, the fullback. He beat him by steps off the left foot, and then beat him from pace and went in to score the first four-pointer of the evening. Well, we're on another replay, which you people at home can see. Unfortunately, I can't. It was Jason Alchin who did it all on his own. He's the sort of player that shines under these conditions, if you'll pardon the pun. Tremendous try. His first try of the season, Jason Alchin, and it came at a very timely point just before half-time. Once again, Canterbury Bankstown are using Jamie Corcoran as their goal kicker. Corcoran's already kicked for one from one. I think a good move here by Chris Anderson. He's taken Terry Lamb off the goal kicking job. Lamb, a kicker who kicks front on, very difficult under these conditions for a front on kicker. Jamie Corcoran around the corner kicker.
Conversion attempt from Jamie Corcoran. And he strikes this one sweetly as well. So Canterbury Bankstown shoot further in front. It's now 8 points to 0. The Bulldogs lead Eastern Suburbs. Welcome back to Townsville. 8-0 Canterbury Bankstown lead Eastern Suburbs. Canterbury come up with the penalty on their own quarter. Must apologise for some problems that we're having in this terrible weather here at Townsville, occasionally losing picture and sound. Our apologies, but our crew is working absolutely frantically to make sure that we get this game to you. It's a miracle, in fact, that we're able to broadcast anything. So 8-0 with Canterbury Bankstown in front. The big question now, of course, is can Eastern Suburbs maintain their enthusiasm that they've shown so far in the game? The scrums are dead set even, but the penalties have favoured Canterbury 8-3. So this scrum will go down just about on the halfway mark. Bridge will work it for Eastern Suburbs. Picked up by McGann at the scrum base. Bridge is there in support. Down the touchline goes Bridge. Content to take the tackle rather than throw a dangerous pass. Smith goes to dummy half away from McGann. McGann gets to the 10-metre mark. Foul support from Georgialis. Eastern Suburbs on the way back. Georgialis plays it across. That's Borton now. Borton off the left foot. Pulled down about 5 metres short of the line and lost the football. Yes,
Yes, that was a nice little move up the blind side there. They used the lock forward very importantly. But we see Borton just finishing with the ball there, losing possession slightly, taking the momentum off. It's the first time really that Eastern Suburbs have looked all that dangerous.
So this scrum has gone with the feed, and the Bulldogs are just 10 metres away from their own line. Dean will play it. Now he's done. Up to the quarter line. He's worked very hard in this first half.
He has indeed. He's a good player.
Thomas. 3 Eastern Suburbs defenders there for him, as Russell Fairfax must be not happy with the score, obviously, but a little more content with his team's performance. This is over Silver's head.
Now, I was about to say earlier, before this boy made a break, that they don't want to give him an inch because he's like lightning. Look at him go there.
Beautiful stepper, beautifully balanced in conditions like this. To be able to step like that is just great.
He's only built like a reed too.
Now Georgialis caught in a typical David Gillespie tackle. Smith from dummy half. 12 handling errors, 7 by the Bulldogs so far.
And that is quite incredible in these conditions.
Quite amazing, in fact, as Quinn is pulled out. Now back to Georgialis, who didn't really look like he was expecting the football. And whether he did or not, that's a magnificent kick. Beautiful kick, has found touch only inches away from the line.
Well, let's see that one again. That is absolutely magnificent from Georgialis. You can see how close it went, about a metre out from the corner post. A beautiful kick.
So this scrum is 10 metres out. Worked by Moore, gone with the feed. Moore finally held by Silver. Here's Langmack. Short of the quarter line. Alchin. Quick hands for Gillespie now. And he's done very well too to get the pass away from Corcoran, who's gone without it. The players were so intent on having a chip at each other, they forgot about the football. Bridge and I think it's Corcoran getting involved in back play. And a facial massage there. Robinson, I think it was, who was getting involved. They want to concentrate on what they're about, because Eastern Suburbs in a very handy position now as Borton brings it up towards the quarter line. The one-hander is back for Hardy, and then quick hands through Cook back for Smith. Smith inside the quarter. Still going strongly. A great run from Smith. 10 metres short of the line. Golden opportunity now for Eastern Suburbs. Here's Gilmister. Somehow got a miraculous pass back for Bridge. Now Georgialis, now Borton. Back it comes for Silver. This is great stuff from Eastern Suburbs. Cook to Smith. Smith goes for the line, gets it down and scores a magnificent try. In any conditions, that was a great try. And David Smith, how sweet it is. Smile, Russell, that was great.
Well, let's see it again on the Nissan replay, and you'll enjoy it as well. Hardy's the man that started it, out to Georgialis. Away there to Paddy Borton. He gets the pass away, even though he was enveloped in the tackle, one-handed. Got it back to Hardy. Hardy goes around there, rolls the ball off his hand out to Cook. Cook gives it away to Smith, and Smith fights his way forward. As you can see, he just refuses to be tackled. The play then goes back midfield, where there's still more of the Eastern Suburbs players. Now, the Gilmeister one was incredible. How he got the pass away there, I'll never know. But through it, went back to Georgialis, off to Borton. Borton gets it back to Silver. Silver goes across field, uses that face I was talking about, out to Smith, and then on to Smith now from, I believe it was Cook. Yes, that was a marvellous try, but Gilmeister deserves a lot of credit for the way he got the pass away in that particular tackle there. He was almost on the ground. There's Borton again, swinging the ball out there, out to Silver. Watch him accelerate. He really covers the ground. And out it goes finally to Smith, and he's able to get himself over the line and ground the ball correctly. Well, I think, I hope we gave that as graphic a description as we could on that one, because it was an absolutely marvellous try.
In any conditions.
In any conditions. If that had been even my holier-than-holy team that had scored that try, I'd have said that was great.
Well, it was fitting that Smith should score it, because he was certainly instrumental in that. That surging run of his early on was just great. And that's a the angle he has. Fairfax has seen enough for the first half. He wants to take the boys in. That was David Smith's first try for the year, and what a beauty it was. Now this is about 3 metres in from touch. Great angle you have. You can see for yourself just how close he goes with this. And it's just to the left. Good effort from David Smith. Couldn't have the extras, but the Eastern Suburbs side on the board. 8-4. Canterbury now leading Eastern Suburbs. And we're only a minute or two away from the half-time break. Rex, I feel East really had to score there, don't you?
They did. They had to score at that moment, just before half-time, to get themselves back into the game. They were down the gurgler at 8-0. But now they're back in it with a fighting chance, although they're running into what breeze there is now. It seems to have dropped away a little bit.
So the restart now with the ball's fallen over again. Farrow with the restart. Looks like Ewan McGrady may be out there in jumper number 20. And Kevin Moore not there. Good barging run down the blind side. Martin Quinn. Again, working this blind side a lot. Quinn again.
Well, I think that's a ploy they must use a lot more in the second half. The blind side seems to me to be a little bit neglected by the Canterbury team. They're all onside there as Farrow catches that.
On the halfway mark for Farrow. McGrady is in jumper number 20. He's the fellow in the clean shirt.
Well, it was a clean shirt under Lent.
And that's the half-time siren sounding. So we go to the break with Canterbury 8 leading Eastern Suburbs 4. Trust you're enjoying the match from Townsville. We'll be back in just a few moments with more of this and Friday Night Football.
That is young Collette trying to stay dry, but at the same time entertain some very brave fans here in Townsville. And they're doing a good job too. Great atmosphere here considering the weather we've had for the last couple of days. Great to see. One young man's wearing a big smile here at half-time. A few people might be happy to change places with him right now. But a good first half of football too in these conditions. Canterbury Bankstown leading at 8-4 at half-time. Billy Anderson, you've managed to build yourself quite a covey house down here.
They wouldn't change places with me, that's for sure.
Canterbury Bankstown and East playing pretty well in the conditions.
I think they are. The synthetic ball helps a lot, doesn't it, as far as handling's concerned. And here we're going to see an example of it. It was the first try scored by Canterbury Bankstown. Kevin Moore at dummy half fired the ball onto Jason Alchin. Isn't this a great example of what little men can do under wet conditions? They can keep their feet. Alchin showed that. He firstly stepped off the left foot, broke the defensive line, came to the full-back, beat him for pace, and with another step, that was a terrific try under the conditions.
And Eastern Suburbs bounced straight back. They're showing a lot of character tonight.
Graham, I thought they showed a lot of determination, Eastern Suburbs. You know, they were entitled to drop their bundle a little bit because they'd done a lot of tackling, but they stuck to their guns and they were rewarded for it. A terrific effort to fight back.
An important try to make it 8-4 at half-time and bounce back into this game. We will take a break right now, and then we'll be back with more from Townsville. Don't go away. Memorial stand here in Townsville has never seen so much action. Collette doing a great job for all the fans that have braved the weather in Townsville and doing her best to show that the conditions aren't all that tough with the outfit she's wearing tonight. Canterbury Bankstown leading 8-4 here at half-time, and time to meet one of the locals here in Townsville. Sue Stanger, welcome to Nissan Friday Night Football.
Thank you, Graham.
Thanks for turning on all the weather for us.
Oh, it's really lovely, isn't it?
Regardless of that, are you enjoying yourself tonight?
Yes, very much so.
And Canterbury are leading. You're telling me you're a Canterbury fan?
Yes.
Do you know what's going to happen right now?
No.
Well, how about if I just offered you $250 from Vidal Sassoon, cash, and a 12-month supply of their fabulous product?
Thank you very much. It's lovely.
I guess you'll be looking forward to doing something with the hair after all this tonight.
Sure will be.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the night.
Okay, bye.
Okay. All right. From Vidal Sassoon, just stay with us for a minute, sir. We might take a look back right now at our fabulous era, known as the 80s.
Gary Hughes, Brentford. for support. Now he's got it out to Mortimer. Should be a try. Anderson will go off the sideline. They won't catch him. He's bowled.
In the 80s, it was hard to match the feats of Chris Anderson. 284 games for Canterbury, 117 tries.
As Anderson put away. Back inside to Graham Hughes. Back to Anderson. Good passing. Back inside to English. Back to Anderson. Anderson's taken it magnificently well. Got it back in. I'm sorry, I called the wrong player. That's Anderson with it now.
He was a member of the Bulldogs' 1980 grand final winning team. He scored the first try. Incredibly, 7 years later, Anderson was captain coach of English club Halifax in the Challenge Cup final at famous Wembley Stadium. And with Manly great Graham Eady, he performed a rare Sydney Premiership Cup final double.
Oh yes, Graham Eady! Here's the moment that Chris Anderson has been waiting for, and he becomes only the third Australian to join Harry Barth and Keith McClellan as an Australian captain to lift the Challenge Cup.
What an outstanding performance from Anderson. Will he coach Canterbury to victory here tonight on Nissan Friday Night Football? We will find out in the second half after this break.
And welcome back to Townsville. Yes, everything is happening here at Townsville. Multi-dimensional view of the proceedings here at the sports ground. And still, the grandstand reverberating to the sounds of Colette. And she's enjoying herself as well. It's the Eastern Suburbs side make their way back for this second half. Filled with the spirit because they really came back strongly with a terrific try just before half-time. The word from the dressing rooms is there is no change at all to the Eastern Suburbs side and no change to Canterbury. 8-4 is the score. Canterbury still in front.
It will be interesting to see what the report on Kevin Moore was. He might have had a stint in the head bin. Well, apparently at the time he will be staying off, and Ewan McGrady will be out there for Canterbury. Borton, fresh jumper, 40 minutes to go to improve on their position. McGrady, he has scored some brilliant tries in reserve grade this year, and he is very, very quick. Umbrellas still out in force with the rain coming down in Townsville. Apparently we've now had the word up from Billy Anderson that Kevin Moore won't be back at all in this match. Neil Armand to get us underway. 81 tackles from Canterbury. Dunn and Gillespie lead the way. East 74 with Quinn on 12. Down for Lamb. Protects the football from a possible knock-on situation, then unloaded well for Robinson. Smith. Press jumpers aren't going to last too long. Pay. Strong first half from him. He missed the match against Cronulla. Through the legs of Thomas for Lamb. They have set themselves better in the kicking department with Farah. Thomas. Langmack. Did well to pick that up. Back for Alshin. Just gets his kick in. Down for Smith. Strongly taken by Corcoran. Silva at the dive with that ball at his feet. Ducked under Gillespie. Campbell. Thomas was low and Darren Smith over the top. Quinn. His charge comes to an end just on halfway. Georgalis. Borton. Standing very wide. Last tackle against the Eastern Suburbs Roosters. Bridges in at half, at dummy half. Cook. The kick away from Alshin. Gilmeister has the little fullback. McGrady at dummy half. He will try his hand a number of times from there. Dunn. One man on line, I would think, for a State of Origin jumper. Representative season getting underway.
And the bloke you've just kicked the football to Farah is very much a favourite of mine as far as State of Origin football is concerned.
That season gets underway next Wednesday. 38 tackles in the opposition half for Reese, 18 for Canterbury. All the representative season. The big matches will be seen on 10 Sports Action. City Country, State of Origin and the Tests. You'll be able to read about the previews, of course, in Big League, which is out this week. Very interesting story in Big League this week by Phil Gould, who tells just why he made the move for Greg Alexander from half back to fullback. Available all news agents and at the grounds this week. Gordon. Can Canterbury put some pressure on East, who are setting for the kick? Darren Smith is the marker. Langmack has gone up quickly on Georgialis. 3 Canterbury players there. McGrady, Colesbert. Real mud bath with a little halfback. Dean across field. Easy pickings in these conditions. Gillespie. Dunn standing flat when he took that ball. Thomas scooped it up for pay. Nearly got out of the tackle of Morton. Farah is back again for the kick. McGann looked to be offside. Again, Farah kept his cool. Unloaded well. Campbell will take on Robinson with a bit of room here. Not tackled originally, now he is. Sherlock. Only 8-4 to the Bulldogs. Good ball away from McGann to bust Canterbury on the fringe. Great ball from McGann for Silver. Does he have the pace? Alston won't get him, he'll score. Great try, put it down to McGann. He slipped a brilliant ball back near halfway. Eastern Suburbs have stunned Canterbury after the break.
Yes, I was only watching McGann a few moments ago thinking that his work rate was coming back to what I recollect him playing. And there he suddenly makes this bust, turns his back, gives the ball to Silver, the young fleet-footed fullback, who is just absolutely sensational over the ground. He covers an enormous amount of ground very, very quickly. And that was a beautiful bit of backing up by him. He's grinning like a Cheshire cat too. Now watch McGann as he turns the ball, takes the tackle, gives the pass to Silver. At that point, there was a try on for all season, as you heard in the commentary. But Silver ran round Alchin. I don't really blame Alchin for that because he was standing still and had to move forward to try to cut him off, but he had plenty of side space. That is a splendid try. That is perfect forward play to be able to make forward progress, then get the pass away in the tackle. That is great stuff.
Just 22 years of age, Silver picks up his first try of the season. What an important one for the Roosters. The upset on the cards, and there have been so many so far in the Winfield Cup. Chris Anderson will be a worried man. Smith from out wide. Strong kicker even in these conditions. Round the corner it comes. Hooking too much. But the scoreline, 8-8 here. East and Canterbury on Nissan Friday Night Football. Back in a moment.
Now that's a very confident-looking Eastern Suburbs side now, worrying Canterbury Bankstown into errors.
Well, Robinson inadvertently threw a pass there that was knocked to ground and fallen on by an Eastern Suburbs player.
Now Borton losing it behind him. And Chris Anderson, as Graham mentioned, certainly would not be happy with this performance, but the Bulldogs come up with possession again. Dunn has been able to pick it up. Gilmester couldn't hold it for East. Farah stands his ground, pushes Georgialis out of the way. 3 tackles each side has missed, which is not too bad. You consider it so easy to slip off players making tackles here tonight. Farrow again. And for Silva, he's been very impressive with his footwork tonight. Can't beat the defence on this occasion. Campbell in for dummy half. And Smith. Campbell again. Canterbury trailed for the great part of the first half. And they've come back to level at 8-all. At least Eastern Suburbs, I should say, trailed most of the first half. They've come back to level 8-all, and we asked the question, is this going to be a great escape? Which is a cue to remind you that the movie following Friday Night Football is, need I say it, The Great Escape. Dean really put himself into the clear. Smith. About 30 metres away from the Eastern Suburbs line. Alton, Dunn, Gillespie. Lamb was taken out of the play. Referee saw it.
A penalty.
He saw it.
Terry Lamb taken out of the play there by one of the Eastern Suburbs players before he got the ball.
Hugh McGowan was the man, and it's got to be a sin bin, surely.
Well, here's the action. Now watch it. Here's Lamb. He's taken there, pulled back, and looks at the referee. It's 5 minutes in the bin for McGowan.
So Hugh gets a chance to have a rest for 5 minutes. The penalty has already been given to Canterbury.
Not a rest, I'm sure, that he would want. I think his coach up there will be going through the first stages of cardiac arrest after that.
So the penalty has been given, and Corcoran has what would normally be expected to be a pretty easy shot for goal.
I'm glad you qualified it.
Although Corcoran has hit the ball particularly well tonight, taking over the duties from Terry Lamb.
Yeah, he gets the ball up in the air, this fellow. There's not much. Now, having said that, it may scuff it along the ground. But anyway, normally speaking, he gets the ball up in the air fairly well. Now, direction can be a problem, but he's directly in front. He's only about a metre in from the 22. So it's going to be, in terms of distance and accuracy, the best possible thing from him.
So Jamie Corcoran with the attempt to put the Bulldogs in front. No mistake for him. So Canterbury grabbed that lead again, 10 points to 8 over East.
Why don't the referees ever penalise the halfback for feeding the second row?
It's not an offence anymore.
But it's not fair.
Well, Ronald McDonald's been feeding the second row and they love it.
And who does Ronald play for, huh?
East back to restart the action. Bill, what have Canterbury been doing wrong at the start of this second half?
I don't think they've been doing much wrong at all, Graham. Both teams, to me, statistically, are playing superbly. They've minimised their error rate in defence and their handling. And, you know, funny enough, but I still think that East look a little bit more determined, and they'll get right back into this. I like the way East are playing, and I think Canterbury just a touch off their game, but they're such a good side that they've got their nose in front.
The message has gone out via the trainer to Canterbury to kick on early tackles. They have the rain and a bit of a breeze at their backs. Gillespie stands wide, nearly shook himself free. Ball just stopped on Alshan. Farah gets that kick in. They bring play down the other end. Silva steps done. Lamb covered up on the inside. Campbell. Now, chance for Canterbury as Eastern Suburbs lose the football. Scrum will go down with the Bulldogs' feed. Shake of the head from Campbell. Right in midfield. Canterbury might want the option of laying back, maybe breaking from the scrum to go blindside. Grady. He's shaped to use up Lamb. He's got Inside for Lamb, takes it brilliantly. Farah's there. If the ball had gone one more infield, it might have been a Canterbury try. I think one of the passes might have gone the wrong way for them. Dunn charges into the fence, stands 5 metres out. There's the try line for Canterbury. Alshan dummies, ducks, tries to crawl on his knees. Thomas, McGrady sits one up, knocked down by East, 6 more tackles. The defence will really be tested right now. Pay sets himself 10 metres out. Thomas from dummy half. Darren Smith was there. He went back infield. All he found was a tricolour jumper, Thomas. That's Cook.
Yes, he stood in the tackle here, switched it back without looking, and it was Cook there who accepted the pass with alacrity. Now a penalty's gone to Eastern Suburbs for an Eastern Suburbs infringement of the 5-yard rule, and they're back out of trouble.
Canterbury let them off the hook. Smith into this breeze. Will gain hardly any distance at all, about 10 metres. But they have possession, and they're away from their 22 as Quinn takes it strongly.
And Salvatore continues that surge. Georgalis.
They're making ground a little bit more easily in the second half through the Canterbury forwards, noticeably.
Smith. McGahn back to join the fray after 5 minutes in the sin bin. Fortin surges forward. 5 tackles used up by East. Hardy dummy half. Bridge. Up they go for it. Sherlock had his hand to it, but Canterbury are going to come up with possession. 10-8, Canterbury lead. The Bulldogs, as the rain starts to fall once more, right in this heaviest section of the field, the Bulldogs working their way up towards the halfway mark. Alshan from dummy half again. Put it on. McGrady. They've used up 5 tackles now. Farah sends this back to Silva inside his own quarter.
They're sending plenty of chasers through after kicks with Silva there because he, very nearly through, but he dropped the football.
Yes, he's stepped nicely, but just couldn't hang on to it.
I think they're aware of the dangers this youngster poses for his sheer pace over the ground. He's an incredibly fast mover.
So Canterbury get the scrum feed. About 30 metres or a little closer than that. McGrady with the feed. Picked up by Langmack for McGrady, who can't handle it. Knocked back, according to the referee. I wouldn't argue with that. It's certainly knocked on by East, but knocked back by Canterbury. Robinson. 11 handling errors by the Bulldogs and 8 by Eastern Suburbs, which is quite remarkable in these conditions. Now Pay's lost it. So East come up with it on their own quarter. Sherlock. Georgalis. Eventually worked its way out for Cook. Hardy in there, a dummy half for Salvatore. Georgalis again. And Gordon, who's really camping out wide. A mistake from McGahn. Pass, as you saw, along the ground virtually. Huey claiming it came off his foot.
I didn't think he got a hand to it originally.
Well, I'm amazed really at Paul Borton attempting to throw a pass that long. I mean, it was not on in these conditions, I don't believe. But it's a matter of conjecture whether it was actually knocked on or landed at his feet.
I don't Another Canterbury scrum feed just outside the quarter. Here's Lamb. His pass from McGrady went astray. Kurt Sherlock getting a ride. And it's back to Dean. Thomas dummy half. This is Langmack. Alchin. Then on for Smith. Scrums now, well, Canterbury surged ahead with that in that department, 9-4, and that's exactly the story in the penalties as well. Alchin. Looking for Corcoran. Punched in defence. Lost the football, South-East. Well, the crowd booing, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Salvatore clearly lost the ball at the end of that run in a heavy tackle, but we've got a player down injured at the moment.
There's Corcoran, I think you'll find, in this tackle coming up.
That's right. Well, gee, that was a pretty good knock they put on him there too. That very strong charge up the top there by Trevor Gilmeister. That was Hardy, not Salvatore, but the ball was quite clearly lost by Eastern Suburbs at the end of it.
Bridge with the all-important feed for East. Scrum collapses. Still manages to get the football out. And just as importantly, Canterbury will have the scrum feed. Struggling, Canterbury, Bill?
They are a little bit, Graham. You know, I think what they're doing is they're kicking for distance. They're kicking defensively, and you've got to do that under these conditions. You've got to kick and get good field position. But I believe that both sides would be better served to also use an attacking kicking game, little grubber kicks, chip kicks, and so on. I think that could turn the tide in this game. It's just going to tip the scales one way or the other to break the opposition defences up because there's nothing in it.
Done. If it's going to happen in this set of 6 tackles, it should come from McGrady or Lamb. Alshan from dummy half. Tries to get something started. Pay. He will take it up to the defensive line by himself. Settling down as Canterbury try and set themselves for something. Langmack setting it. Darren Smith off Langmack. Now it is the last tackle against Canterbury. Thomas. He's the man that's going to be kicking instead. Campbell's there. Robinson's got him just 2 metres out from each line. Sherlock. Canterbury trying to lift their effort. Silva. Penalty against Canterbury. They will not keep any pressure on East now. The Roosters take their time. Smith has gone off, and Mick Delroy has gone out there to replace David Smith. Quinn. Nearly lost it. Smith has been forced off with a cork thigh. Salvatore. He should come up with a number of handling errors as they've tried to clear it. Vorton. Wrapped up by Dunn. Ball and all tackle. Hardy. Across field. Now he straightens. Ball back on the inside. Was it knocked forward? Knocked back, said Neil Armand. Bridge works the blind with Vorton. Tries to get a miracle ball back, only as far as a Canterbury player. Gillespie will play the football back for Dunn. Both these teams very tight in the conditions. Pay. The joint competition leaders trying to shake free of this Eastern Suburbs side. McGrady lost it. East couldn't pick it up. It will still go against Canterbury for the original knock-on. Now it's even as far as the opposition half is concerned with possession. strongly favoured East early. Georgialis still beat Lamb, even though he tripped. McGann. Upended by Gillespie.
Good powerful tackle. Drove him, picked him up and drove him.
Georgialis. Long, wild ball. Delroy took it and still beat a man. Quinn. He's got through a lot of work for East.
Yes, he's the Paul Dunn equivalent in the Eastern Suburbs pack.
They're lined deep, the Roosters. Georgialis. Shaped to throw another long ball. Flicks it out the back for Silva. This time he's going nowhere as Dunn was on him. Last tackle against East. Bridge. Kick. Dean is back there. Good defence from Eastern Suburbs. As now East mount the pressure on Canterbury, trying to force the handling error in these conditions.
Just the 2 points Canterbury lead by in what has been an amazing turnabout by Eastern Suburbs. Now Alchin again darting away from that dummy half position. They need a score for in that quarter. For Farah.
Another deflection.
Delroy is there. Delroy has gone straight through. Where's the support for him? Couldn't get a pass away. Able to play it forward. Takes it inside the quarter now. Some pressure for Canterbury as East are lined out deep. Back for Bridge. Still inside the quarter. Now Georgialis. McGann. Flicking back for Georgialis. And he's called out Andrew Farah.
Well, watch this again. You'll see Georgialis running strongly, and he's taken in a tackle, and then apparently uses the hand again in the tackle. Now watch it. There it was, the right hand coming down in a chopping motion, the forearm on the head of Georgialis, so the penalty is going to go to Eastern Suburbs.
Neil Arman showing the caution to Farah. Penalty to East. Just about on their quarter line. And
well, they've lost their goal kicker, of course.
Yeah, Smith has left the field. Sherlock is going to take the shot for goal. Now see if he can get some sand out of the little tin.
Well, Sherlock had some success as an all-black player. Yes, well, he's, as our director facetiously said, he's all-black tonight. I'm sure he'd be very would have enjoyed that remark, but he has had some success as a goal kicker, but not with Eastern Suburbs all that much. He's only kicked on very rare occasions with them.
Just about, well, maybe half a metre past. Oh, there's the quarter line you can see there. There's a good look at the goalposts. This to level the scores. Strikes it well. It's a goal. This football game is all tied up. 10-all, Eastern Canterbury here at Townsville. The score here at Townsville. A real tight struggle. They almost went in just a second or two ago. It was just held up over the line, the Eastern Suburbs side.
New player on for Canterbury is Haggett. He has replaced Gillespie. Done. Apologise for some of the problems we've had right throughout the night. Silva is there for Campbell. Bill East certainly looking the stronger.
They sure are. They're coming home well, aren't they? And an area, Graham, I reckon they can expose is this. When Kevin Moore went off the field, Alshin's gone up to halfback, and McGrady's playing in a position of fullback that's foreign to him. Now, he should be able to capitalise on that. Surely, with a a well-organised kicking game, they must be able to catch him out of position. I'd be looking in that area, I believe.
Hardy. We all start to expect field goals now inside the last 10 minutes, but it would be very difficult to try and get a drop kick into the air. McGann, Campbell, they've knocked it forward. Scrum will go down. About 9 minutes to go. Nice change. Hardy has left the field. Trevor Patterson is out there. Lamb through his hands. Eastern Suburbs. Canterbury were too slow to get there. Little things like that sometimes show the difference in enthusiasm. The Eastern Suburbs want it more. Borton. What a form reversal from the Roosters. Borton loses it.
Well, if looks could kill, Borton would have been instrumental in the referee's death on that occasion. I think...
little hand there from Langmack.
Yes, it appeared to be the assistance of a Canterbury hand.
Alshin. Lamb. Canterbury. Maybe with the advantage now, territory and possession. Will they head as far as they can towards the posts? Quinn is off, and Bell is out there for Eastern Suburbs. What an important penalty. Dunn had broken free, but East inside the 5.
Well, I would hate to see this game result in a win to one side or the other on the basis of that. The referee could quite advantageously let the play go there and play advantage, because Dunn had forcibly run to the defence and busted them. Whether he'd have scored or not's another matter, but certainly they would have been travelling upfield. But I think any fair-minded person would agree that they don't want to see this game, with the great effort that Eastern Suburbs have put in, go against them in the event that this kick is successful.
100% record from Corcoran in the mud. If you owned him, you'd start him in the Sydney Cup at Randwick tomorrow. Around the corner for Corcoran. The crowd put pressure on him. Strikes it well. Touch judges don't move too far. Vital kick, handled the pressure well. Canterbury 12, East 10. We've got about 6 to go here in Townsville. You've got to hand it to both teams, Canterbury and East, for the way they've played tonight.
I go along with that. They played some very good football, both sides, and we saw one of the tries of the year, recollect. Smith scored it for Eastern Suburbs. Beautiful try, a dry weather try.
Robinson. The vital part for Canterbury is here. They maintain possession, set themselves in good position to kick out of the danger area. We go down to the last 5 minutes. East will know that they've got to mount some pressure on Canterbury's kicking game, or win it back in the play the ball. Have they? Canterbury 6 more. And they kick out, rather silly. Canterbury with a penalty to get downfield. And they've made it worse. Somebody's had something to say.
And then 5 minutes for Patterson, I think it is.
They'll play the last 5 with 12. Try and work it all out.
Well, frankly, that is absolutely dopey. You can't do that. That's probably why the lad's playing reserve grade and has come on to be a replacement in first grade. You just cannot do that. The referee is sole judge of fact. Even when he's wrong, he's right.
Well, Canterbury have been aided in their cause, not so much by the penalty count, but in the position where the penalties have been given. They've received 6 penalties in East's half, whereas East have only had 1 in Canterbury's half. That shows some lack of discipline from Eastern Suburbs.
I think that's a good word, and I think it's indicative of Eastern Suburbs' play tonight. They played very wholeheartedly, 100% effort being put in by them. That's a charge down, and East have got possession. They've got to do something during this set of 6.
Well, let's see what they can do. Here's Bell. The crowd starting to get behind East in their struggle to snatch this game. Vaughton is caught a few metres from halfway.
And Vaughton has run himself into the ground tonight. He really has given 110%.
Here's Bell. He's a fresh man. Georgialis showing the football with one hand, which is probably a little dangerous in this weather. Bridge.
The chase is a bit slow going through.
This is McGrady with it. The chase has got him. Pay. Dean, I should say. He's lost the football. Silver. Silver across field. 32 out from the Canterbury Bankstown line. 12-10 is the score. Canterbury with their nose in front. Salvatore's pass has gone astray. Canterbury have come up with it, they knocked it on. Another Eastern Suburbs change. Beecroft is on. Salvatore, who's toiled pretty hard, is having a spell. Scrum's gone with the feed. Bridge to Georgialis. Got the pass back. Bridge has just been able to fall on it. 32 metres away from the Canterbury Bankstown line. McGann. Bridge dummy half for Georgialis again. The little kick through. And he's going to get the penalty. Well, Georgialis put the kick through and ran straight in. I think it was Haggith he ran into.
Yes, Haggith. And the referee is alleging that he did step sideways and put himself in the way of Georgialis. So that's only a decision the referee can make. He saw whether it was deliberate or not. He's claiming, of course, it wasn't. But they've got to take the kick for goal here. And I would suggest to you that the fellow that's going to take it, Sherlock, who's already had one success, is going to be as nervous as a kitten, and he'll have every right to be.
Kurt Sherlock.
I think fair dues, a draw would be an excellent result tonight.
Yeah, I think that, well, Chris Anderson mightn't agree, but...
well, the coach disagreeing accepted.
Yeah, it certainly has been a remarkable reversal of form by Eastern Suburbs.
Yes, you'd swab them if they were racehorses.
Indeed you would. Now, here's Sherlock. This to tie up the football game. Let's have a look at it. It's there! It's there! Eastern Suburbs come back to level at 12 all against Canterbury. The crowd has just gone bananas. And we've got, let's see how long we've got to go. About 3 minutes, 2 minutes. A play left. Farah kicks it deep, of course. Silver and he's in goal. Making himself an early target with the slide. Canterbury will be desperately looking for the football, and they may well get it because the knock-on has come. So this scrum is going to go down 10 metres away. It'll be a Canterbury Bankstown feed.
Georgialis doesn't know where to look at the moment. We're into the last minute of the game. Georgialis, who made the error and has given Canterbury back the ball, doesn't know where to look.
Here's Land. They may well be looking for a field goal. Farah, content to just go straight ahead. Now Alchin, swinging it out for Langmack. The little kick through. Delroy's gone back for it. I think Delroy got there first. Only just.
Yes, well, a very exciting moment for Eastern Suburbs. There was a danger here that the try might be scored against them, but he was able to get back into the in-goal area. There's the header for full time. and the score has come up with a win, a draw